Have your legs started feeling heavier, more unstable, or unusually sore with each passing day? Do even the simplest movements, like standing from a chair, walking across the room, or climbing a single flight of stairs, feel more like a chore than they used to? If that sounds like your current reality, then I urge you to pay very close attention. What I'm about to reveal may not only surprise you, it could explain precisely why you've been feeling this way, and the truth might genuinely shock you. Because what's behind this growing discomfort might not be aging, or lack of exercise, or even genetics. No, the answer could lie in the very things you consume every single day without realizing the damage they're doing. I'm talking about a hidden threat found in common foods and, most alarming of all, 2 vitamins that you've likely been told are essential for your health. But these so-called beneficial nutrients might actually be doing the exact opposite. Instead of protecting you, they could be quietly draining your muscle power, putting pressure on your joints, and leaving your legs unstable, uncomfortable, and increasingly vulnerable to injury or weakness. Imagine that, vitamins most people trust to build strength might be the very reason your legs are growing weaker by the week. And the worst part? These silent destroyers are already part of your everyday routine. They hide in your breakfast, your snacks, your nightly supplements. Every bite you take, every glass you drink could be feeding the weakness you're desperately trying to fight. But the situation goes even deeper than that. The 2 vitamins you might be taking right now with full confidence, believing they're strengthening your bones or boosting your health, could actually be speeding up muscle degeneration and undermining everything you're working so hard to maintain. In this eye-opening presentation from Holistic Health Daily, you're going to uncover the truth about these overlooked dangers. We'll expose the real cause of the stiffness, the swelling, the unexplained fatigue, and that daily leg pain that's been following you around. More importantly, you'll find out exactly what to avoid, and more importantly, what to change, to take back your strength, restore your energy, and reclaim your freedom of movement. Because if your goal is to stay strong, active, and independent well into your later years, this is the information you've been missing. Now, let's begin with something deceptively sweet, the foods that comfort us emotionally while damaging us physically, sugary desserts. For decades, cakes, pastries, candies, and cookies have been associated with joy, tradition, and pleasure. But after the age of 60, those sugary indulgences become much more than harmless treats, they turn into invisible saboteurs of your leg health. Excess sugar sets off inflammatory reactions throughout the body, and muscles and joints are among the first to suffer. This chronic, low-grade inflammation slowly makes your legs more sensitive to pain, less resilient to stress, and far more likely to deteriorate over time. But the damage doesn't stop there. Eating too much sugar also increases your body's resistance to insulin, a hormone vital for transporting energy to your muscles. Without that energy, your leg muscles begin to weaken and operate less efficiently. They fatigue faster, recover slower, and lose their ability to support your body the way they once did. Even worse, sugar encourages weight gain, and every extra pound you carry puts additional strain on your lower body. That's more pressure on your knees, your hips, your ankles. And more wear and tear that leads to discomfort, inflammation, and functional decline. For older adults already grappling with age-related muscle loss, this is a dangerous cycle. On top of all that, excess sugar also triggers your body to produce more internal toxins, worsening inflammation even further and damaging the systems responsible for keeping your legs firm and functional. Did you know that too much sugar can even impair blood flow? It narrows the blood vessels that deliver oxygen and nutrients to your leg muscles, meaning slower recovery, weaker tissue, and less endurance. That seemingly innocent slice of cake or sweet pastry might actually be robbing you of your mobility, your balance, and your strength. Commercially produced desserts are even worse. Packed with artificial colors, preservatives, and chemical additives, they intensify inflammation and interfere with your body's ability to repair itself. Combined with sugar, these chemicals form a toxic cocktail that devastates your muscular system over time. But here's the good news: you don't have to give up sweet moments forever. Simply shifting to healthier alternatives, like fresh fruit topped with cinnamon or low-sugar homemade treats, can still satisfy your taste buds without sabotaging your body. Your legs will feel the difference. Your energy will begin to return. And your body will thank you for making a smarter, kinder choice. The more inflammation accumulates in your body, the harder it becomes to keep your legs strong, firm, and functional. Inflammation silently breaks down tissues, interferes with healing, and sabotages your strength from within. But did you know that sugar, something as common and innocent as dessert, can directly impair your blood circulation? When consumed in large amounts, sugar increases the risk of vascular complications, which restrict blood flow to your lower limbs. That means your leg muscles start receiving less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and less energy overall. The result? Delayed recovery, slower tissue repair, and muscles that become weaker over time instead of growing stronger. What once seemed like a harmless reward, a piece of cake, a few cookies, may actually be costing you more than you ever imagined. Not just in calories, but in long-term strength and independence. These sugary treats provide virtually none of the key nutrients your muscles rely on: no quality proteins, no magnesium, no fuel for recovery or endurance. They're empty calories that deplete rather than support. And in your later years, when preserving every ounce of muscle becomes critical, an unbalanced diet like this doesn't just cause a minor dip in energy, it accelerates the loss of muscle mass, one of the biggest threats to your mobility. So if you've been noticing your legs getting weaker, it might not be anything mysterious. It might be as straightforward as that piece of pie you've been enjoying at night. That bite of dessert may taste sweet, but behind the flavor is a force slowly undermining your stability, your strength, and your confidence. What's worse, most store-bought desserts are loaded with more than just sugar. They're filled with chemical additives, artificial colors, stabilizers, and preservatives that amplify inflammation even more. These foreign substances disrupt your body's balance, disturb digestion, and directly impact your muscular system. When these chemicals are paired with sugar, the result is a deeply harmful combination that intensifies bodily stress and speeds up deterioration. But here's the empowering truth: you don't need to give up dessert entirely. Just make smarter choices. Choosing options like cinnamon-sprinkled fruit, homemade treats with natural ingredients, or low-sugar alternatives already makes a huge difference. You can still enjoy the flavor and pleasure of something sweet, while honoring your body, your strength, and your future. Trust me, your legs, and your taste buds, will both thank you for choosing a better path. Now let's talk about a different kind of craving, one that's salty, crunchy, and fried. French fries, chicken nuggets, donuts, they may seem like comfort food, but the truth is far from comforting. Especially after 60, the damage fried foods inflict on your body, particularly your legs, is serious and hard to ignore. These foods are packed with trans fats and saturated fats, which dramatically elevate inflammation levels throughout your body. This inflammation, once again, attacks the joints and muscles, stiffening your legs, amplifying soreness, and making you more prone to injuries. But that's not all. The fats in fried foods hinder blood flow, which interferes with how well your muscles are oxygenated. When oxygen delivery is reduced, your muscles struggle to regenerate, leaving you more tired, slower to heal, and weaker overall. Over time, fried foods contribute to the buildup of blockages in your blood vessels. That's like cutting off the supply line your legs need to stay strong. Nutrients no longer reach your muscles efficiently, and your support system, the very structure that helps you stand tall and move freely, begins to erode. Among the worst offenders? French fries, donuts, battered meats, and deep-fried snacks. Now before we go further, let me ask you something. Are you still with me on this journey? If what you've heard so far resonates with you, know that you're not alone. You can take action, right now, to change the direction your health is heading. And we at Vitality Revival are here to guide you every step of the way. So go ahead and stay tuned, because what's coming next is just as vital. Let's return to the facts. Eating fried foods regularly overwhelms both your circulatory and skeletal systems. And the truth is, the flavor just doesn't justify the damage being done inside your body. Have you ever noticed that after eating a greasy meal, your legs feel heavier, stiffer, or more tired? That's not just a coincidence. That's your body sounding the alarm. It's reacting to the toxic load of unhealthy fats, struggling to digest them, and diverting energy away from your muscles in the process. The digestion of fried foods is slow and demanding, sapping energy that your muscles would otherwise use to stay firm and functional. And that's just the beginning. These foods also contribute to rapid weight gain, especially dangerous when your legs are already vulnerable. Every pound gained adds more pressure to your joints and more friction to your movements. And let's not forget, fried foods are nutritionally poor. They offer little to no beneficial vitamins, minerals, or protein, the very things your muscles depend on. This kind of diet leads to imbalance, one that slowly eats away at your muscle mass and leaves your legs weaker, less steady, and more fragile. With diminished muscle, even basic tasks, walking, climbing stairs, standing for long periods, become more difficult and sometimes dangerous. But there is hope. Avoiding fried foods is one of the simplest, most effective changes you can make to safeguard your mobility. Replace deep frying with healthier cooking techniques like baking, steaming, grilling, or air frying. This small switch can help protect your legs and preserve your independence for years to come. Now let's move to something many people consider harmless: white bread. It's a staple in breakfasts and sandwiches all over the world. But after age 60, this seemingly innocent food becomes far from neutral. White bread is made from refined flour, a process that strips away nearly all fiber and essential nutrients. What you're left with is a rapidly absorbed carbohydrate that spikes blood sugar. These sugar spikes put immense pressure on your muscle health, especially in your legs, leading to sudden energy crashes, fatigue, and long-term weakness. But the issues with white bread don't stop with blood sugar. It's low in fiber and sits high on the glycemic index, both of which contribute to insulin resistance. This means glucose, your body's fuel, can't enter muscle cells effectively. And when muscles don't get the energy they need, their strength diminishes. They lose tone, they fatigue faster, and they recover slower. Over time, this leads to muscle mass loss, a major contributor to declining mobility in older adults. In this context, white bread stops being just bread. It becomes a silent irritant. And because it lacks protein and essential minerals, it offers no support for muscle repair. For older individuals already at risk for sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle with age, relying on white bread without balancing it with quality protein is a nutritional misstep that chips away at strength, meal by meal. Legs become weaker, more tired, and less capable of supporting your daily movements. And that's not all. White bread is often consumed with other high-fat or sugary toppings: butter, processed cheese, jams, which add to weight gain. And as weight increases, so does the stress placed on your legs. This leads to swelling, inflammation, and higher risk of injury. It's a downward spiral. Each slice might seem harmless, but the long-term accumulation of poor food choices is what truly causes lasting harm. The good news? There are plenty of better options. Whole grain breads made with oats, flaxseed, rye, or other natural grains offer fiber, minerals, and slow-burning energy. These breads support digestion, help regulate blood sugar, and indirectly enhance muscle health. When paired with healthy fats like avocado or lean proteins like eggs, they form balanced meals that nourish your muscles instead of draining them. You don't have to give up bread altogether, just choose smarter, more supportive versions. Your legs will respond with strength, endurance, and resilience you didn't think was possible. You don't have to give up bread entirely, you just need to make better choices. Choosing nutrient-dense, fiber-rich alternatives can transform the way your body feels and functions. And if you're still with me, stay tuned. Because very soon in this video from Vitality Revival, we'll be revealing the 2 vitamins that, when taken excessively, can quietly destroy your leg strength and mobility. But before that, we need to talk about another hidden danger, one that many people overlook: alcohol. Alcoholic beverages, though often socially accepted and casually consumed, become increasingly hazardous as we age, especially when it comes to preserving the strength and flexibility of your legs. After the age of 60, your body's ability to break down and process alcohol declines. This means even modest amounts can linger longer in your system and produce stronger negative effects. One of the most critical consequences of alcohol is that it interferes with your body's ability to absorb essential minerals, particularly calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. These minerals are vital for keeping your muscles strong and your bones resilient. Without them, the risk of muscle weakness, brittle bones, and dangerous falls skyrockets. Alcohol also disrupts your body's ability to repair itself. After even moderate physical activity, your muscles should be rebuilding and regenerating. But alcohol delays this recovery, making post-exercise soreness linger longer and increasing your vulnerability to injury. And because alcohol is a diuretic, it contributes to dehydration, one of the leading causes of muscle cramps, stiffness, and reduced flexibility in the legs. If you've ever experienced those sudden nighttime cramps or soreness after a few drinks, now you know why. But the consequences go further. Alcohol also hinders liver function, and the liver plays a key role in producing and managing compounds responsible for tissue repair and muscle health. And don't forget, alcohol is calorie-dense. Even in small amounts, it adds excess calories that often translate to fat, especially belly fat. This added weight puts more strain on your legs and joints, making every step more burdensome and reducing your overall mobility. Combine all of this with the natural muscle loss that occurs with age, and you have a recipe for accelerated physical decline. Have you ever noticed how much more tired, sore, or foggy you feel the morning after drinking? That's your body responding to internal strain. Regular alcohol consumption raises inflammation levels across the board, further intensifying joint pain and making it harder to stay active. Over time, these repeated disruptions chip away at your health, your vitality, and your freedom to move. Soon, we'll uncover the exact vitamins that may be exacerbating this problem. But first, let's address another sneaky saboteur: processed meats. They're convenient, familiar, and found in many people's daily routines, but behind the convenience lies a serious threat. Meats like bacon, sausages, deli ham, and salami are often loaded with preservatives and sodium, 2 ingredients that fuel inflammation throughout the body. That inflammation targets your joints, creating stiffness in the knees, discomfort in your ankles, and persistent pain in the muscles of your legs. For many people, that achy stiffness upon waking in the morning isn't just age, it's your body reacting to what's on your plate. Processed meats also contain high levels of saturated fats. These fats impair circulation by clogging arteries and restricting blood flow. Without proper blood supply, your leg muscles receive less oxygen and nutrition, compromising their strength and slowing down their ability to regenerate after exertion. Over time, this results in noticeable weakening of the lower limbs, reducing your capacity to walk, climb, and stand with ease. But that's not all. The toxins and chemicals present in processed meats accumulate in your body, placing a burden on your liver and kidneys, organs critical for filtering out waste and supporting muscular recovery. When these systems are stressed, muscle fatigue becomes more frequent, and energy levels begin to drop. Add to that the impact on glucose metabolism, and you've got a formula that directly reduces available energy to your muscles. The result? Persistent heaviness, lack of endurance, and legs that simply don't feel the way they used to. Yes, these foods may be convenient. But in this stage of life, when every nutritional decision matters, that convenience can come at a tremendous cost. Fortunately, the solution doesn't have to be extreme. Start with simple swaps. Instead of bacon, choose heart-healthy avocado or olive oil. Replace processed sausage with scrambled eggs or tofu. Trade in deli ham for shredded chicken or fresh fish. These small changes add up quickly. As your body begins to detoxify and heal, your legs will feel lighter, stronger, and more capable. Between the fleeting pleasure of taste and the lasting gift of mobility, which would you rather choose? Now let's move on to a food that's become a quick fix for busy days but carries hidden dangers for your legs: instant noodles. They may seem like an ideal option when time is tight, but their effects on your body, especially after 60, are deeply concerning. Made primarily from refined flour and packed with artificial additives, instant noodles offer very little in the way of real nourishment. What you get is a calorie-heavy, nutrient-poor meal that's low in fiber, low in protein, and almost completely devoid of the essential micronutrients your muscles need to stay strong. Over time, regularly consuming foods like these contributes directly to the weakening of your legs and the decline of your ability to move freely. One of the biggest problems? The salt content. Just one serving of instant noodles can exceed half of your recommended daily sodium intake. That much sodium leads to fluid retention, which causes swelling in the legs and makes them feel bloated and painful. It also raises blood pressure, further impairing blood circulation and depriving your muscles of oxygen. But that's only part of the problem. The flavor packets that come with these noodles are full of preservatives, synthetic colorants, and monosodium glutamate, all of which are linked to inflammation. Even mild inflammation impacts joint function and contributes to accelerated muscle wear. The stiffness, discomfort, and instability you feel after eating these foods isn't your imagination, it's your body reacting to repeated internal stress. And then there's the issue of blood sugar. The lack of fiber in these meals means your body processes them rapidly, spiking glucose levels and then letting them crash. That instability confuses your insulin system and prevents muscles from accessing the energy they need. Without steady energy, your legs tire quickly. Suddenly, something as basic as walking across the room or going to the store feels like a challenge. That's the true cost of convenience. Now let's talk about a food that might smell like home and feel like comfort, but brings a silent threat to leg health: industrially made cakes. Their aroma may be nostalgic, and their taste may bring joy, but what lies beneath is a mix of ingredients that your body was never meant to process. Loaded with refined sugar, hydrogenated oils, and synthetic preservatives, these cakes wreak havoc on your metabolism and directly contribute to muscle breakdown and joint stress, especially in aging bodies. Underscore 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 loaded with refined sugar, hydrogenated oils, and artificial preservatives that quietly disrupt your metabolism and irritate your internal systems, commercially made cakes are far from innocent indulgences. What looks like a slice of joy is often a slice of hidden harm, especially as we age. Sugar interferes with insulin sensitivity, making it harder for your body to regulate blood sugar, which leads to greater fat storage and weight gain. This added fat doesn't just affect your appearance, it directly creates a metabolic environment that works against muscle maintenance, making it harder for your legs to stay strong and responsive. And that's just the beginning. Many of these cakes contain trans fats, synthetic fats designed to extend shelf life and enhance flavor, but at a steep biological cost. These fats lower your healthy HDL cholesterol while raising the harmful LDL cholesterol. That imbalance compromises your cardiovascular system and reduces blood flow throughout the body. Poor circulation means your leg muscles receive less oxygen and fewer nutrients, and that starving effect slowly leads to tissue deterioration, loss of lean mass, joint stiffness, and eventually, impaired mobility. You may not feel the effects right away, but over time, each bite chips away at your body's foundation. The regular consumption of these cakes is also strongly tied to chronic inflammation, a condition that lurks beneath the surface and is one of the most destructive forces against muscle strength and joint health. Ingredients like emulsifiers, colorants, stabilizers, and other synthetic additives disrupt immune responses and provoke inflammation, particularly in joints like the knees and hips. This causes stiffness, increased discomfort, and a dangerous cycle where pain discourages movement, and lack of movement accelerates muscle loss. What makes these cakes even more problematic is their nutritional emptiness. They're packed with calories but lack any meaningful nutrients, no real protein, no magnesium, no calcium. Your body needs these components to build and maintain both muscle and bone. Consuming these kinds of foods is like trying to fuel your engine with dirty, unstable gasoline. Your muscles are the engine, and when they're running on poor quality fuel, they misfire. You experience fatigue, underperformance, and increasing weakness. Often, it's not bad intentions that lead us here, it's convenience. It's what's available, what's easy, and what we've become accustomed to. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Making simple shifts, like baking your own cakes using natural oils, fruits, and whole grain flours, can give you that same comfort, but without the long-term damage. The difference in ingredients is the difference between weakening your body and empowering it. As you retrain your palate and embrace healthier options, your body begins to respond. Your muscles regain firmness. Your energy increases. You begin to feel lighter, more agile, more alive. Small changes in your diet create profound changes in your body. And if you've stayed with us this far, stay tuned. Because what's coming next in this video from Vitality Revival could completely reshape the way you think about leg health and aging. Let's now turn our attention to something that's often overlooked but just as problematic: ultra-processed cheeses. They come in convenient packages, spreads, slices, melting blends, and often taste delicious. But behind that convenience and flavor is a nutritional trap that compromises your legs in more ways than one. These products are typically packed with sodium and saturated fats, a dangerous duo. Sodium encourages fluid retention, while saturated fat makes your blood vessels stiff and less responsive. Together, they constrict circulation and create swelling in the legs, making them feel bloated, uncomfortable, and increasingly heavy with each passing day. But that's not all. Ultra-processed cheeses are frequently fortified with phosphates and artificial preservatives that throw off your body's mineral balance, especially calcium and magnesium. These two minerals are foundational for muscular contractions and bone strength. When their absorption is blocked or reduced, you start to experience the signs quickly: muscle fatigue, nighttime cramps, joint pain, and stiffness, particularly in your lower body where leg muscles are used constantly. And here's a critical point: these cheeses are low in quality proteins. Unlike artisanal or minimally processed cheeses that retain their full amino acid profiles, industrial cheeses go through chemical treatments that strip away nutritional value. So while you may be eating calories, you're not receiving the building blocks your muscles need to stay intact. It's like eating filler with no form, and the consequences become clear over time. Muscle loss becomes more rapid. Coordination suffers. Functional decline accelerates. Have you ever noticed how your body feels heavier, slower, and less energetic after a highly processed meal? That's not your imagination. It's the cumulative effect of inflammation, mineral imbalance, and protein deficiency weighing down your system. Your muscles are trying to perform, but they simply aren't getting what they need. Over time, even simple tasks like walking to the kitchen or climbing stairs begin to feel like uphill battles. But it doesn't have to stay this way. You can begin reversing the damage by choosing cleaner, more wholesome cheese options. Go for ricotta, cottage cheese, or fresh farmer's cheese, options that are far less processed, richer in nutrients, and gentler on your body. Small upgrades like these add up over time, helping you restore energy, flexibility, and strength. And we're not done yet. In fact, we're approaching one of the most revealing moments in this journey. Because soon, we'll unveil the two worst vitamins, ones you've probably been told are healthy, but that may be undermining your legs without you even realizing it. But first, let's talk about another deceptively comforting food: industrial ice creams. They're cold, sweet, and incredibly satisfying on a hot day. But for those over 60, they're one of the worst offenders when it comes to leg health. These popular treats are extremely high in calories and loaded with saturated fat and refined sugar, a combination that spikes blood sugar and floods the body with inflammatory compounds. These fluctuations in blood sugar destabilize energy levels and make your muscles less reliable, less responsive, and more prone to exhaustion. Low-quality ice creams also impair circulation. The heavy saturated fats they contain make it harder for oxygenated blood to reach your legs. And when blood flow is poor, numbness, tingling, and leg cramps become regular visitors. With time, this oxygen deficit leads to actual muscle deterioration, reduced balance, and increased risk of falls. It's tragic, really. We eat ice cream for comfort and reward, never realizing it may be weakening us from the inside out. And it's not just the sugar or fat. These ice creams also include artificial colorings, thickeners, and emulsifiers that increase inflammation and disturb digestion. This kind of silent inflammation is one of the main causes of tissue damage and muscle fatigue, and it builds over time with every spoonful. Continued consumption of these processed desserts doesn't just hurt your digestion, it throws off your hormonal balance too. And hormones are what regulate how well you absorb essential nutrients for muscle maintenance. If your gut and hormones are off, your legs will suffer the consequences. Weakness, pain, and loss of stamina begin to take root. And here's the saddest part: these products offer no real nutritional value. They don't help you build muscle. They don't help you heal. They don't support your joints. Instead, they leave you tired, depleted, and struggling. That temporary pleasure comes at the cost of long-term strength. The toll they take is visible: weaker steps, heavier legs, and less willingness to move. Less muscle firmness, more daily pain, and a reduced ability to stay active. That's the quiet cost of these indulgences. Every bite, every small moment of flavor, slowly robs your body of the strength it could have been building. Now let's turn our attention to a sweet treat many people enjoy daily without suspecting the damage it might be causing: milk chocolates. Whether enjoyed as a dessert or a midday escape, milk chocolate has become a regular part of countless routines. But for individuals over 60, its repeated consumption carries consequences that reach much further than most realize, especially when it comes to your legs. Milk chocolate is often high in both refined sugar and saturated fat, a dangerous pairing that fuels inflammation in the body, particularly in joints and muscle tissue. The combination of quick sugar absorption and low-quality fats places your metabolism under constant pressure. This overload contributes to reduced muscular energy, weakening your legs and making them more prone to fatigue, aches, and stiffness. One less obvious issue is the low cocoa content in most commercial milk chocolates. Cocoa itself contains antioxidants that can be beneficial to your vascular system, but in milk chocolate, it's often diluted or replaced with artificial ingredients, preservatives, and sweeteners. These synthetic compounds don't just compromise flavor, they actively interfere with your internal systems. They can stress your liver and pancreas and impair your body's ability to absorb key nutrients necessary for muscle strength and repair. The result is what many seniors feel but can't always explain: legs that are tired, unsteady, and lacking in vitality. On top of that, milk chocolate causes insulin spikes. These surges flood your muscles with energy for a moment, only to leave you depleted shortly after. For those already struggling to maintain lean muscle, this blood sugar roller coaster can be devastating. Another issue is how milk chocolate often contributes to weight gain around the midsection. This extra abdominal weight shifts the body's center of gravity and puts more mechanical stress on the knees, hips, and ankles, compounding joint wear and further destabilizing your stride. Fortunately, you don't have to abandon chocolate entirely. Dark chocolate, with a high cocoa content and fewer additives, can offer antioxidants and flavonoids that benefit both circulation and muscle health. When consumed in moderation, it can even support vascular function rather than hinder it. The key is awareness and control: quality over quantity, benefit over craving. At Vitality Revival, our mission is to help you see these subtle but powerful choices for what they are: tools to either build you up or break you down. And now, let's move from sweet to salty, another category of food that may be silently hurting your legs: canned foods. Canned items are undeniably convenient, but they come with a long list of hidden dangers, particularly for aging muscles and joints. Most canned products contain artificial preservatives such as sodium benzoate and nitrites, in addition to excessive salt, colorings, and other synthetic chemicals. These ingredients are highly inflammatory and pose serious risks to both your vascular system and your muscles. Consumed regularly, these additives interfere with your body's natural muscle regeneration process, impair oxygen delivery to tissues, and make it harder for the body to heal or build strength. Salt is another major concern. The high sodium content in canned foods encourages fluid retention, a primary cause of swelling and discomfort in the legs. This isn't just a cosmetic issue, it's a warning sign. Retained fluid means that circulation is struggling. Nutrients aren't being delivered where they're needed. Inflammation is building. And for individuals over 60, especially those dealing with hypertension, this becomes a serious obstacle to mobility and well-being. But there's more. The nutritional value of canned food is often misleading. While labels may list vitamins and minerals, the reality is that much of the original nutrient content is lost during processing. What remains is a low-value, high-toxin meal that forces your body to work overtime just to eliminate waste. That constant effort drains energy and reduces muscular performance. Your fatigue and leg weakness may not be due to aging alone, your diet may be to blame more than you think. And here's something few people realize: some canned goods, especially acidic or long-stored products, may contain small amounts of aluminum leached from the container. While minimal in each serving, this aluminum can accumulate over time. Research suggests that consistent exposure to metals like this may negatively affect your nervous system and muscular coordination, subtly increasing your risk of imbalance, falls, and long-term weakness. The good news is that this risk is entirely avoidable. Fresh, frozen, or naturally preserved foods are widely available and far less damaging. Cooking meals from scratch using real, whole ingredients isn't just healthier, it's a statement that you value your strength, your independence, and your quality of life. Choosing better options doesn't mean spending more time, it means gaining more time in the form of better health. The trade-off is worth it. Still think only fast food or sugary treats are the problem? Think again. Even those little cookies you snack on in the afternoon may be part of the problem. Let's talk about filled cookies and processed snacks, the colorful, crunchy, tempting items we often reach for out of habit or hunger. These ultra-processed foods are full of artificial dyes, chemical flavorings, synthetic stabilizers, and preservatives. What might seem like a harmless treat is actually loaded with compounds that cause your immune system to flare up, your liver to work harder, and your kidneys to strain under the weight of chemical waste. These organs are essential to detoxifying your blood, and when they're stressed, your entire circulatory system suffers. And as always, when blood flow suffers, your legs pay the price. Even more alarming is how nutritionally empty these products are. They're high in calories, but extremely low in proteins, minerals, and fiber. They fill your stomach, but leave your muscles starving. And for aging adults, this is critical. As your body becomes less efficient at absorbing nutrients, every bite matters more than ever. A nutrient-poor snack isn't just a waste, it's a missed opportunity to build strength, protect your joints, and maintain function. Then there are the trans fats. These fats, some of the most inflammatory compounds in the modern diet, clog arteries, restrict blood flow, and disrupt the delivery of oxygen and nutrition to muscles. Over time, they quietly cause the legs to weaken. Your muscles lose tone, your endurance drops, and simple movements begin to feel burdensome. It's not a dramatic collapse, it's a slow, invisible decline. Add excessive sodium into the mix, and now you have fluid retention worsening the situation. Swollen lower limbs, aching calves, and visible signs of imbalance are all red flags. These symptoms aren't just discomforts, they're signals that your body is struggling. Left unaddressed, they pave the way for varicose veins, chronic joint pain, and reduced movement. And all of this could be triggered by snacks we've been taught to see as harmless. The worst part? These snacks spike your blood sugar rapidly, then leave it crashing, creating a cycle of fatigue, hunger, and cravings. That roller coaster zaps your muscular energy, leaves you mentally drained, and encourages more poor choices. The more you depend on these processed items, the more you weaken the very muscles that keep you independent and on your feet. Switching to natural snack bars and homemade alternatives can completely reverse the downward spiral we've just described. This one change alone can rebuild your energy, restore your muscle tone, and shift your entire outlook on aging. At Vitality Revival, we're committed to sharing the kind of information that truly transforms lives. So let's continue with a hidden danger found in more foods than you might think: monosodium glutamate, also known as MSG. You'll find it everywhere, in packaged seasonings, instant noodles, powdered broths, canned soups, frozen entrees, and countless processed meals. Though originally intended to enhance flavor, MSG's effects on the human body reach far beyond the taste buds, especially if you're over 60. The aging body becomes more vulnerable to chemicals like MSG, and regular intake can be particularly harmful to your nervous system and muscular control. MSG interferes with vital neurotransmitters that regulate how your muscles contract. For sensitive individuals, this chemical can cause headaches, fatigue, muscle aches, tingling sensations, and, more relevantly, heaviness, stiffness, and even tremors in the legs. As we age, our ability to filter out neurotoxic substances declines. That means chemicals like MSG linger longer and do more damage. They contribute to widespread inflammation that attacks joints, blood vessels, and muscle fibers, the very areas your body depends on for balance and mobility. When inflammation takes hold in your lower limbs, blood flow becomes restricted, oxygen delivery slows, and muscular function declines. You start to notice more cramps, more discomfort, more stiffness when walking or climbing stairs, and less ability to recover after simple exertion. It gets worse. MSG often comes hand in hand with high sodium content, which causes fluid retention and swelling, a combination that's especially damaging to seniors. Not only do your legs feel heavier, but they're also receiving less energy. MSG disrupts how your muscles process glucose, which weakens their ability to convert fuel into strength. This means you could be eating enough calories, but still feel depleted. Over time, this diet can lead to visible muscle mass loss and a growing dependence on others just to complete everyday tasks. The most insidious part? Many people don't even realize they're consuming it. MSG goes by many names: flavor enhancer, hydrolyzed protein, yeast extract, and these aliases are often printed in tiny letters or buried in ingredient lists. The only real protection is choosing natural ingredients. Fresh herbs, garlic, onions, citrus juices, and olive oil offer both flavor and function, enhancing meals without undermining your health. And now, it's time to unveil the two biggest hidden threats of all: vitamins that can be devastating when consumed in excess. First, vitamin A. Vitamin A is essential. It supports your eyesight, strengthens your immune system, and promotes healthy skin. But when taken in large quantities, especially from supplements, it crosses a dangerous threshold. In people over 60, the body becomes less efficient at clearing excess vitamin A from the system. This can cause the vitamin to accumulate in your liver and joints, triggering a condition called hypervitaminosis A. One of the most common signs? Persistent muscle pain, especially in the legs and lower back. This pain is often mistaken for arthritis, nerve problems, or normal aging, but in reality, it may be an inflammatory response caused by too much of a good thing. Excess vitamin A also interferes with the absorption of two minerals essential for muscular contraction and relaxation: magnesium and calcium. Without these, muscles struggle to function properly, leading to cramps, spasms, and general weakness. Climbing stairs becomes more difficult, standing from a chair becomes a chore, and walking short distances leaves you fatigued. And there's more. High levels of vitamin A stored in the liver can hinder your body's ability to produce energy, leaving your muscles underpowered. As strength declines, your mobility suffers. In more advanced cases, vitamin A excess can even cause bones, especially in high-use areas like the legs and hips, to become brittle and demineralized. This dramatically raises the risk of fractures. For individuals with pre-existing conditions like osteopenia or osteoporosis, the impact can be life-changing. That's why vitamin A supplementation should only ever be done under strict medical supervision. The truth is, most people already get enough through a balanced diet. Liver, eggs, whole milk, carrots, pumpkin, these are all natural sources that, when consumed in moderation, provide all the vitamin A your body needs. The real danger comes from doubling up, fortified foods, multivitamins, and high-dose capsules that push your intake far beyond safe levels. Always monitor your total intake from all sources, and remember, more is not always better. And now we arrive at the second major offender, excess vitamin D. Vitamin D is often hailed as a wonder nutrient for seniors. It's recommended for bone strength, immune support, and even mood regulation. But like vitamin A, too much vitamin D can backfire. Unlike water-soluble vitamins that your body excretes when not needed, vitamin D is fat-soluble, meaning it gets stored in your fat tissues. When consumed in large doses, it builds up over time, sometimes without symptoms until damage has been done. One of the earliest warning signs of excess vitamin D is muscle pain, particularly in the legs, along with coordination issues and a general feeling of physical weakness. That's because too much vitamin D causes calcium levels in the blood to rise excessively, a condition known as hypercalcemia. High blood calcium can cause leg cramps, muscle burning sensations, joint stiffness, and a loss of mobility. It also disrupts the delicate electrical signals that control how your nerves and muscles communicate, making every movement feel slower, harder, or less stable. Worse yet, excess calcium from too much vitamin D doesn't just float around harmlessly, it begins to calcify soft tissues, including muscles and tendons. This leads to stiffness and discomfort in areas like the knees, calves, and thighs, the very muscles you rely on to walk, balance, and stand upright. What should be a protective nutrient suddenly becomes a source of rigidity and restriction. And that's not the end of it. Overloading on vitamin D can also impair your kidney function, the organs responsible for filtering minerals and toxins from your blood. When the kidneys are overworked, fluid retention worsens, leading to leg edema, soreness, and a general sense of heaviness. This sets off a vicious cycle. More vitamin D leads to more calcium, more strain on your kidneys, and more damage to your muscles. That's why supplementation should never be done blindly. Blood tests and medical advice are absolutely essential when it comes to vitamins like D. Many people mistakenly assume that because something is natural, it's automatically safe in large quantities. But the truth is, the line between benefit and harm can be thin. Deficiency is dangerous, but so is excess. Especially when it comes to your legs, your freedom of movement, and your independence. If you've found this information helpful, know that we at Holistic Health Daily are here to support your journey toward better health. Subscribe today and join a growing community dedicated to wiser aging, stronger muscles, and greater vitality, every single day. And don't forget to check out our next video, which reveals the 3 essential vitamins every diabetic should take to protect muscle and nerve health. Until then, remember, strength starts with knowledge, and you're already on the path.